now from Hollywood, California, the horror capital of the world, the Boulet Brothers, creatures of the night.
Hello, Uglies, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night post-mortem for episode 4 of season 666. Joining me now, as always, is my sister in darkness and death, the deadly Dracula.
Hello! I am excited to talk about this episode because I really like it.
I know. You know what? I love this season. Like, I just, oh God, this episode was so good. Okay, the next one will be like whatever, but it's not. It just keeps getting better and better.
I couldn't agree more. And I really like our outfit on this episode.
Ooh, it's a good one.
That always makes me like the episode a little bit more. Before we get into the latest episode of the Boulet Brothers Dragula, we have to quickly talk about a couple of things. One, the Los Angeles Halloween Ball is this Saturday night, so you need to go and get your tickets now. I think a bunch of the VIP booth stuff's already gone. You can go to the Boulet Brothers Dragula website or bouletbrothers.com, and there's a link to tickets. Make sure you do that. We will also be in Palm Springs on October 30th. We're doing a Halloween house party there with Jimbo and
Vivi the Force. Scylla will be there, as well as Anti-Heroine.
It's going to be fun. And then we're going to get on a plane and fly directly to Boston, where we will be hosting our Boston Halloween Ball on Halloween night.
That's right. Our dark ritual in the Northeast continues.
Now, I don't know if it'll be announced by now or not, but Halloween Day, we have a huge surprise coming, but I don't know if it's going to be announced by the time the podcast comes out. So just stay tuned to our socials and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I just want to reiterate too, the Halloween Ball, the LA Halloween Ball is our favorite thing ever. We love a lot of stuff, but we love the Halloween Ball just a little bit more than everything else. It's 3 levels and 6 areas of Halloween fun and goodness. Performances by the Boulet Brothers, Jimbo the Drag Clown, Neo Hulu X, stars from season 6. Aurora Gosmic will be there, Asia Consent, Gray Matter. There's a infernal puppet theater upstairs, pumpkin carving, a slutty little dance party downstairs. Like, it's really, really fun. And a costume contest worth $1,000 in cash and prizes.
Sounds pretty good to me. Mm-hmm. Okay, we should also tell people, drum roll, we do have a restock of the Boulet Brothers action figures. They should be online now. You had better buy them while you can, because we are not making another round. It was a huge pain in the ass to make the second round.
It was, but I think it's totally worth it. They're so special and cool. And you never know, like when you create something, you're like, oh, I hope others will love it as much as we do. And these just literally sold out in a couple hours. So we definitely wanted to do a second round.
Yeah, I am loving the things that we've come out with this year, like the vintage kind of superhero style glasses and now these action figures. Like, this is the kind of stuff I would buy. So I'm happy that everybody likes it.
Very retro Halloween chic. Mm-hmm. All right, all of our sales pitches are now officially done. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be diving into episode 4 of season 666, The Ghost Train. We are back, my darlings, and joining us now, as always, is our co-host and cohort in crime, Ms. Ian DeVogler.
I'm here for Chicken Gate.
Wow. The words Chicken Gate get coined in this episode, and I live.
Incredible. It was my first note that I wrote down. I was like, Chicken Gate goes the fuck off. Like, thank you for that.
People were living for the chicken.
Yeah.
Desiree was not. Desiree was online fighting all the fans. I was like, don't do that,
Don't
Sherry.
fight.
But
Don't
I love
fight
her.
back.
I love her. You know, that's
love
the
her.
kind of wild energy that makes her great TV, I think.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. I love the chicken. I love the Desiree through the chicken. I love Desiree. It is super punk. I'm like, you should do a chicken number, honey.
Oh my God.
100%. But please let it be a fake chicken if I'm going to be there.
Oh, I mean, get into a chicken costume. I don't corset it. I don't know. Like, throw some fried chicken around. Do it, diva.
I'm afraid she's performing with us in Boston. I'm afraid she's going to bring a turkey, a real giant turkey. I'm like, that's too much guts.
Throw it at,
Don't do
and
that.
throw it at you for reading her that it was a chicken.
Hey, I was right. Turkeys are for Thanksgiving, not chicken.
That's right.
I am a turducken kind of gal.
No.
Oh, yes.
That is bullshit.
Wait, deep fried
That is,
outside?
Not deep fried. I am a baked turducken. I mean, it is filth. It is horror.
It's glamour.
I don't know that it's glamour. It's something, but I love, meat inside another meat, inside another meat. Hot.
been there.
All right, so let's get into this episode of the show.
Yes. So we're back in our hosting mansion and we're dropping subtle, no, not so subtle hints. It's like, so right over the head, it's giving train. And I think it was very obvious.
I love it. I love the hosting this year. It's so fun.
I'm so glad you like it.
Yeah, I really, really do. Like, I just think that it's, if I may, and not to compare other things, but there are other shows, a lot of other shows that'll be like, oh, well, this week's challenge is weird pun and sort of cryptic thing this. And instead you're like, choo choo, like, get on the tracks, mama. It's time to conduct this. I'm like, okay, I wonder what the challenge is. I love it. It's so fun.
Totally. So I hope audiences like the hosting location and the style too, because you're going to see it every episode. Get into it.
All right, so let's get into the show. So they're all in the lab and what?
So they're discussing, of course, like what happened last week, who do they think's coming in, and as we said earlier, Aurora coins the phrase "chicken gate," which I think just goes down in the annals of Dragula history.
Yeah, and we have this interaction between Auntie and Majesty. What did you think of that? Yeah, tell me. What did you think?
Yeah, we were like, ooh, how is this going to be received? And just so you know, our scorecard is terrible this year. Like what we thought the audience was going to gravitate toward and not, or like, ooh, this is dangerous, but then they fucking love it. Like it's like, oh, it's so you can't
I feel
see
like
it
they
coming.
could have handled it. Like I was like, pull back. The audience
Yeah.
is too sensitive now. Like we can't shit. But now I'm like, ooh, I should have put a little more in there.
That's our way of saying we're very proud of the audience. We're proud
Yes.
of the audience. We're proud of
Yeah.
the fans.
I am
because
too.
y'all are
Yeah.
acting like grown women watching a grown woman show, and you can handle it.
And this
And-
is grown woman TV, honey.
We're going to reward you by leaning even harder into it on the next season.
Woo, harder,
Because everyone's
harder.
good until the end of the season.
Oh, I mean, those are big grown woman breastplates to fill.
I know. So what did you think of this interaction?
Spicy.
Yeah?
Spicy, spicy, spicy. First of all, I just want to say, I love Majesty's hoodie in this scene. Like, Majesty, pop off with that. I love anti-heroine. I adore this sort of like wisdom viper character. I'm like, how are you on one tentacle, you are so wise and so community leader, and hold on everyone, why are we fighting? And on the other, viper, like narcissist, like everything you say, I see you. I'm like, oh my God, like I love anti-heroine. And I do think that Majesty holds their own in this, and I think that it must have been tough for Majesty to go through that, because this isn't just I don't like your eyebrows, I don't like your makeup, I don't like your drag. This is a personal, like, I think that you are fake and you are a narcissist. I'm like, oh my God, that's deep cut shit.
Those are big
Yeah.
words. Yeah.
I think, you know how every season things get heated,
Yeah.
like at a certain point. And on season 4, it was like episode 5 when they had that crazy cauldron meltdown. This season, it was after episode 3. So between episode 3 and 4.
Sure.
So it's hard because we don't have the footage of it, but there was a lot of energy between them. Like, Majesty and Desiree got into it, and you saw a bit of it in the trailer, but it didn't end up making it in the final cut because it didn't go anywhere. It was sort of like it didn't further any story and it didn't go anywhere. You know, it was just sort of like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
You know, if you call someone a bitch off camera and then you come back into the lab and you're like, why are they so pissed off? I mean, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, that just causes confusion, and there's a disconnect. Like, because we're big fans of other reality shows, and when they focus on stuff that happened off camera or on another day that you never experienced, it's just annoying, and it breaks the reality of the show.
Yeah, it's interesting to see this interaction because something has happened, or Auntie has felt this way for maybe a couple of episodes or I don't know how long these feelings have been bubbling up, but I don't know that we've really seen Auntie and Majesty really interact that much. And so to see it happen so quickly, I was like, oh, this is not something that you just woke up one day and were like, I don't like you. It's like, this is something that has been bubbling in the background.
I think it's like repetitive behavior and
Yes.
maybe like under your skin for a little while. Oh, I can tolerate that. I can tolerate that. And then you just explode. That is a page right out of my playbook. Like that is how I operate in my life too. I'm like, you know, you take it. And then it's like, I'm done. And now you're on blast.
But she had said a couple of things that didn't end up making, because, you know, if we put
Sure.
everything in, the episode will be like 8 hours long. So she had said things about it in the past episodes, but it just didn't make it. So it does seem like it comes out of nowhere a little bit. But I think episode 1, she was very weary of Majesty's presence.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And, yeah.
And we see it even more as this episode unfolds and rolls on. This narcissism and just kind of like character clashing between Auntie and Majesty continues.
It's kind of fun when I think about their floor show looks, actually, because Auntie was kind of the detective, and I felt like she was like, I'm on to you. And
But
then
Majesty was
had
also a detective.
Yeah, but she had like the knives in her back.
Yeah.
Ooh, stab me in the back, mama.
Yes.
So the time has come and Yuri joins the cast and lets them know how wonderful it was to plummet to the earth from a plane. I mean, honestly, that footage was crazy. When I saw that angle and like Desiree like heaving 1, 2, and then poof, she's gone.
For me, it's the shot where I didn't remember seeing it in the previous episode, but when we go to the flashback, Desiree hops out of the plane, woo, turkey down, and it cuts to Yuri, who is, I mean, blanched, like genuine fear, terror, horror. I was like, bam, that's good fucking Dragula right there, mama.
Yeah.
I am proud of her for doing. I mean, I'm proud of both of them for doing it. Although I
Yeah.
don't think it was as intimidating to Desiree. So, you know, obviously Yuri, I was like, is she even gonna do it? Like, I was like, is she gonna pull a Violencia? But she did not.
Well, turkeys can fly. Oh, chickens can't, but
Well, I don't know. Maybe if they spread
Kinda
their
glide
wings,
down.
they kind of glide down safely.
It's true.
I've seen my chickens fly before, right? They
Yeah.
flew over the fence into the other yard, an 8-foot fence.
cockadoodle flew. Sorry.
So I don't think I can recall anything like super significant other than Yuri sort of like letting everybody know what their experience was like doing the extermination. And the alarm rings and we learn about our next challenge, which is a challenge that I love.
Yes.
Every season since I think season 2, we've had some kind of spectral, ghosty challenge. And later in the episode, I go ahead and try to rail them off, and Drac rudely interrupts me, and I don't get to get past like 2 of them. But there's a lot of them.
I hope people get that was a Hoso reference and not me just being an asshole.
It's funny that you mentioned that because as soon as you did it, there was a very, very brief, like blink of an eye. I was like, ooh, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh, right. Yes. The iconic Hoso cauldron moment.
I was like, this is purely to entertain Ian and Hoso only.
Yes.
Oh, no. I think all the hardcore Dragula fans know exactly what you're talking about. And they know that Hoso's look that episode was pure glamour.
Oh, the most glamorous. And I'll go on record. Hoso, I've always loved that look. It is my favorite look ever.
The most glamorous look I've ever seen from Hoso Teratoma.
The most glamour, honey.
So we're splitting up the cast into 3 groups of 3, and they're performing our song Ghost Train, where? You guessed it, in a haunted train yard.
That was actually really fun to film. This is our first on location shoot of the season. I mean, other than episode 1, we were in a bunch of different places, but this is our first floor show on location. And it was actually a lot of fun to shoot.
It was super cool. I really love that shot too when everyone's doing like sort of their runway in the empty train car and like the lights are flashing. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. Love it. I don't know if we want to talk about the stuff before we go into it, because I love this floor show, but I feel like there's other stuff that happens too, right? Like
what else? Like anything that stands out to you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love when we do smaller groups, because I think that like a big group challenge, 2 groups head to head is always a huge beast. But then there's something about when you get people into, especially when you get the monsters into smaller groups, it's easy to kiki with your girls when it's just 3 of you and to talk some shit. And I love it. And I feel like this time around we get to see the dynamics of the groups, like seeing Anti-Heroine's group be like, we're doing choreo. I was like, okay, that tracks. That's very cool. And they focused on performance and choreo. And then you have another team who is just sort of talking shit and just kind of hanging out. Like, we've seen this before. Like, this happens every time we do groups, which I just love. I'm like, focus, come on.
Well, I think you see it in the floor show too. I mean, but I guess we'll get to that in a second.
My favorite interaction here is they're trying to figure out who's going to be on whose team.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want this person. Oh, well, she's the winner. And my favorite line comes from Majesty. And right at the end, he's like, did I do it? Did I manipulate us enough?
Yes! Come on, Majesty. That was
so
cute.
good. Oh my God, it's so good. During this episode, too, Sigourney Beaver, who does a recap show of every episode in Chicago, and she has special guests and stuff. It's very cool. You should check out Sigourney's recap show. But she's texting me, and I accept texts from a few bitches, and Sigourney is one of them. Yes, and she's like, girl, oh my, they have free jewels? Oh my God, a jewel package? Oh my God, I'm going to die with envy.
Yes.
It's so funny. She's like, I've never been more jealous in my life.
So we gave them jewelry so they wouldn't rebel and get mad. And I think it worked. Yeah, just got to keep throwing presents at them. And, because they come in and they're mad. And you're like, here's some free stuff. You can't be mad at us.
Yeah. Petulant children.
Makeup, jewelry, tour bags. I mean, come on.
What else could you want? Free Tammy? Like, let's go, honey.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about the floor show.
Yes.
So we were on location in our haunted train yard. And we get, you get a little tease of their looks, but this episode wasn't really about that. It was really about their performance. Who stood out for you in a good way and a bad way?
Let me open up my darkened tome of my notes here. It's my notes app on my phone. Okay, so I feel like performance-wise, I looked at Anti-Heroine, Pi, and Jaharia instantly. I was like, if there is a winning team to this challenge, this is the winning team. It's cohesive. There's choreography. They look together. It's just the whole thing, again, cohesive and great. I did feel like when I saw the other groups, I was like, I wish that there would have been a conversation to say, hey, you look like this, I'm this character, let's do something together. Because it felt like everyone was performing and there were some great performances, but it is a group challenge, so bring that energy to the floor show.
Yeah, that was interesting because we were trying to decide before the floor show, do we want to judge this as a group or individually how they do in the group?
Yeah.
And that's what we ended up going with. So if it was a group challenge, those 3 would have won.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that I'll say is I felt like there were a couple of looks that I just was not 100% sold on.
Yeah.
And one of them was Asia. Love Asia Consent. I think that her drag is fierce.com. But that being said, when I saw this, I was like, I don't know what haunted train got titty tassels and like stripper like pussy out, but like, okay, like that's the train I want to be on, not the train that I think I've ever been. I mean, I've had a train run on me like that, but like, okay. So I think that it's cool. Like you can totally tell that Asia's drag is stamped. But I do think this is a challenge where Asia could have really said, I'm going to create something that's more in that world versus like bringing that world to my own.
I thought it was creative to sort of come at it like she's almost the flame in the steam engine and she had the bucket of coal and all that stuff. I thought that was cool, but I don't know. It just didn't land to me. Like it did feel a little party or like go-go dancer, raver kind of vibe rather than the time period that we were leaning into.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I'm discovering this about my judging in general, specifically this season. If you have to work hard to figure out someone's story or why they're doing what they're doing, that's not good. And I was working. I'm like, okay. I mean, there's some, I don't get that, that kind of thing.
I only got it because of the coal bucket. When we were there, we were directing it. I climbed up on the train and gave her the bucket, and she had like a shovel and everything. So I was like, at first I was like, what the fuck? And okay, I get it. But you shouldn't have to be like, I get it a second later. Yeah.
No, she did look cool.
I will say her performance was excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say this too. Swan, there are moments where your judging and my judging are so like crystal clear aligned. And Jaharia, I love you. I love this Bible-beating Baptist church-going church lady. I was like, I love this look so much. I love it. And then when you said that in judging, I was like, yes!
You saw right where the spirit hit her.
Loved it.
No, it was great.
Now, what did you think of Gray's look?
I think I felt the same way about Gray's look that Gray did by the end of Judgment, which is we have seen Gray pull it out. I mean, just do stuff that is really kind of groundbreaking, and we've never seen that type of creature haunt drag like that before. But the first thing that I noticed about it was this feels pedestrian. And for someone who is so bringing the haunt world to a drag place, like you said, we don't need bra and panties drag, although gray matter, I'd love to see it. We don't need bra and panties drag all the time, but it would be nice to drag this look up. Like the concept is cool and definitely in the world, but drag it up.
Yeah. You could have had like a really old beat up looking coat with a giant starched collar and, exaggerate it, pull the waist in, but have the shoulders be big. I mean, there's things that he could have done. The boots could have been kind of really almost up to your knee, just kind of push everything a little bit, I think.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it did. It felt very much, as you know, we love Not Scary Farms here, and their whole thing is an Old West kind of vibe. And I was like, Gray Matter is definitely giving Not Scary Farms.
Yes.
Which I love. That's not bad, but it's not enough. It's enough to scare people in the fog, but it is not enough to win the challenge.
True. The only other things that I think are worth noting for Vivi, I love Vivi. Like, I think that Vivi the Force is a force to be reckoned with. I do wonder if she had enough fabric in that look. I'm like, could you have put maybe more fabric on this fabric? I was like, holy shit. I mean, the entire ream of, I was like, you have so much on you. It was so much. Just bring it down a little bit.
What did you think of Aurora?
I think that Aurora is maybe coming into something here. Like, I really like the colors, and I really like seeing someone finally be like, oh, this is the thing that I do. So everyone who has looked at me a certain way or looked at me sideways these past couple episodes, whatever, hello, I am here. Please address me as follows. It's really cool to see, and I think that it's exciting. Like, I feel like last episode, Asia gets a second win, which props to Asia. So cool. We have 2 wins and then 1 win. And now the horses in the race are starting to get established. And so we have this other character who's like, you may have thought a certain way, and now let me show you what time it is. I'm like, ooh, okay, come on, Aurora.
And I think it's totally triumphant, and it like kind of fires up the audience when you do see a character that's like, this is what I'm known for.
Yeah.
This is what I do. Let me step up, and then they succeed and deliver.
Yeah.
But I'm going to drop a little nugget about later in the season, because there's another challenge where you think like, oh, this is their opportunity. They're going to show what they're going to do. And it doesn't work out. It's kind of different.
That's so exciting.
There's a level 10 flop that I would say has never happened on the show.
Flopula?
Before. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
From someone that you will be shocked.
Oh my God, that's so, I can't wait. Oh, I do also want to shout out Yuri for this episode, because for a moment, when it was announced that Yuri, it was in either the top or the bottom, I thought, okay, could Yuri snatch this win? Like, I was like thinking, I rewatched the floor show and I was like, I think this could be kind of a subtle maybe there was a very big conversation between the judges, like who's going to win, who's going to like this, because one thing that I love to see is someone come back from getting their ass beat and show the fuck up. And Yuri did that.
Yep.
We've seen it over and over.
It's classic
Like,
Dragula.
it's not just us torturing drag queens with crazy shit. Like, it really does do something to them, and they come back with fire. And look at how fluidly she moved. Like, I was just so happy to watch Yuri perform this song.
And she looked so good, too.
Gorgeous.
It was a lack of confidence and stage fright that I think she was grappling with before this moment. But if you're terrified of jumping out of a plane, which many people are, I am, and you make yourself do that and you live, the stage is much less scary.
Sure.
You're like, what the hell does it matter? I'll go out and, ride around and lip sync and it's fine. And I just want to give a little insight from my perspective, because before this, and it's hard to show because of the way the floor show's edited, but literally a couple of times Yuri would come out on stage and say, "Oh no," and something would fall off her or something, and she would just stop, and I'm like, Yuri, this is really happening right now. What's going on? And I couldn't believe it. But then this episode, all that was gone. She was like in that train car, spinning all around, super confident, lip syncing to the camera. I was like, you go.
It was great.
You know what was cool about that on that note for me is Majesty is a deadly performer. Majesty is, there's a reason why Majesty was in the top 3 on season 2. There's a reason why Majesty is here. And to see Majesty giving tips to Yuri and really, I think, nailing it. I was watching them, out of drag. They're just doing the rehearsal, like, oh, move slow, like the wind. I was like, this is someone who thinks about what they're doing on stage, and you can see it when they perform. If you see them live or you see them just in the floor shows, Majesty cares about what they're doing. And to give that advice to Yuri, I was like, this is a cool moment for you. Like, I'm very happy.
Too. Yeah.
Me too. So we are going to take our second break, and we will be right back.
Any other highs or lows we need to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, we shared a lot of our feelings on the show. And we'll get to judgment too, because I love the judges. And this is an episode where our guest judges are returning for multiple times. So Landon Sider is back, the drag king of all drag kings, and Justin Simeon, who I love, who I think is just so sharp and charming and gives great critique.
And I will never not associate him with ghosts because of the Haunted Mansion. So every time we're doing a ghost challenge, I'm like, we got to call Justin. And he's probably like, I'm not the ghost queen, but okay, I'll do it, but I can do other things too.
You're like, no. Ghosts. Ghosts for you. It's all good, ghosts.
There's who are you going to call? Call Justin.
Love it.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Let's talk about our looks.
Oh,
because
please.
we have these slutty little vampiric numbers with the bat bustier, probably one of our favorites of the season.
Favorite. I can't wait
So
to wear
cute.
it all through Halloween now, so I hope people like it because I'm wearing it.
I also love a big, bitchy lace-up boot. I was like, oh, yes, mama, this contrast lacing is so good.
You would have really liked the stilettos that we had on that we couldn't wear for the episode.
Wait, oh my God, what?
We had these shoes.
Oh, here
they
we
were
go.
so hot. They were incredible. We have been saving them so much that we never put them on before that day. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so they were sitting in this box just marked episode 4. And I can walk in the crazy, like heels are nothing for me. I can run around, do flips, do whatever. It doesn't bother me. But these, I've never worn a pair of heels like this before because the incline on them, they were like fetish heels.
Oh.
Which is even, I've walked in those extreme ones before where you don't have a heel, but you just have the front, and I'm fine in those. This one, I don't know what it was, but it crushed your foot. It was just terrible.
You're like, these are for posing and photos only.
That's exactly what they were.
Laying down, little kitty cat.
So Swan was like, these are my favorite boots. These are what I'm wearing. And I'm like, okay, let's do it.
I love that. It was literally when you popped it, I was like, God, I love these boots.
Oh, yay. See, Drac, I told you they were hot. Okay, so I think we've gone through all of the judgment and you have corroborated some of your opinions that match ours. And I think generally we're kind of in alignment. Usually you give yourself a score. Last week it was like 100%. Like how close were you this time?
So I am going to give myself a little bit of a caveat on this because I thought we were going to do teams. So I put Majesty, Jaharia, Asia, safe. Pi, Yuri, Auntie, top, and Vivi, Gray, bottom. I don't know if I like must mess those teams up, but then I was like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, let me like regroup this. And I would say that I'm gonna give myself a B- on this. I did not see Aurora clinching the win, but I did see Aurora as the top. So that was, although I did clock the two who were up for extermination, and I think that was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I think Aurora's delivery was very soft and sultry, and it fit the song really well. I think. Yeah. It was her. It was her sort of challenge to win, I think.
Yeah, and the look was just deadly and gorgeous and thought about from head to toe. Not to say that other people's weren't either, because I think a lot of people in the Jaharia, Auntie, Pi, maybe all of them, their looks were phenomenal and the performance was great. I mean, there was just a lot of good performance on this episode, so you had to pick and choose your criteria, and it wasn't the easiest one to judge.
You're making me think about the psychology of picking teams, because I think that team is my winning team. They did great. That being said, when you're on the winning team and everyone's doing good, like everyone looked good, it was fun, it was cohesive, does anyone really stand out from a team of heavy hitters versus in a team where it's maybe a little more varied? Aurora's starts to really stand out. Because honestly, what I really enjoyed about this judgment specifically is even without your commentary, I was able to look at the looks. Because in a performance challenge, you're judging the performance, but getting to actually see Aurora for the details, I was like, this is really put together.
Yeah.
This is very put together.
I have to give it to Auntie too, because there were so many objects and things that she pulled out of that like professor's bag. We saw the magnifying glass, and I think there was a dildo in there. But there was like literally like a gun and a chicken and
a knife.
Yeah, there's like so much.
Funny.
It was very weird capers. Clue meets like drag camp, and I love Auntie too. Like Auntie's weird for me because I think it's safe to say that I was very much picking Auntie as like, this is my pick to definitely include this season. Like vetting their drag and their look, the makeup. I'm like, this is it. And I definitely want Anti-Heroine in. But some of the stuff we see this episode with the personality, that is not in alignment with who Auntie is in my mind. So she's a very complicated character for me.
I think complicated is the word. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, she's good for reality TV, honestly. Like, I think she's not afraid to say what she thinks. She's not afraid to be silly on camera, which is so fun to watch.
she pours it on too. Like, she is so campy and hammy, and I love it.
All right, so let's go to the cauldron.
So we learned that Vivi and Gray will be facing our Tesla coil of turmoil, which I love all these little names. And okay, here's some tea. Drac names them all. All of our torture devices are designed by Drac Morta, and I don't learn them until I look at the script. I'm like, okay, yes.
Okay, do you want to hear some real tea?
Yeah.
Where my inspiration comes from is from the New Gods and DC Comics Apocalypse. They have all these sarcastic names. It's like Granny Goodness and Granny Goodness's Orphanage, which is not a place you want to go. And she's not good either. So it's very sarcastic. They're evil as shit. They do all this evil shit, and they always name everything these grand, I
love it.
Yeah, so that's where that comes from.
It's great.
What was the one in season 4 where it is the Battle of the Bands, and I remember it's like the Shockathon 9000. It's like so ridiculous. I remember on set being like, what the hell is this? I was like, excuse me, Drac? What? It's so funny.
It's like something Shockatron. I don't remember, but I loved it. Dreadnought Electrocutioner.
Yo, the Dreadnought Electrocutioner.
Betty was like, that hurt.
I love it.
So we see Gray Matter kind of shook in the cauldron. I think for someone who's giving us like a stoic kind of very level character and personality throughout all of the episodes up to this point, this is someone who knows exactly who they are, deadly skill set, delivers. is never taken out of character, even no matter how much Desiree came for his ass. Like Gray was like, I'm not taking that bait. And I just never saw him break character until this cauldron. And it really was visible that it was like the wheels were turning. And I think the threat, not only of what was going to happen with the Tesla coil, but like, you know, how am I going to perform in this? Could this be it for me? I might go home.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think that it seemed like the panic and the terror and sort of the quiet reserved was more for the threat of extermination rather than the immediate pain. Of course, I mean, that is something to be scared of, but because Gray Matter says it too, they're like, you know, to have done so well up until this point and to just kind of fall here would be devastating, disappointing.
Absolutely.
It's interesting because that can happen, because I think Gray's been performing high the first couple episodes, but having the cast sort of sense that blood in the water. Ooh, you know what I mean? Sometimes 100%. Someone can go down fast and all of a sudden you're sending home a top contender and you're like, did that really just happen? But it does happen.
Absolutely. One thing I really love, and I don't know if this was on the podcast, Swan, or if it was just outside of podcast world, but you mentioned to me that there's a through line with Gray's drag that will become apparent at some point in the season. And this is the episode that I clocked it. Okay. It's Gray Matter's exposed brain, ribcage, skull piece thing. Yeah. And I love it. It's so cool because you see it, whether it's on Gray's physical body or it's on some other prop or apparatus. There's always some exposed gray matter brain thing.
Exactly.
It's cool.
I think it's genius. I
will say though, to see it in the cauldron during this moment, it's one of the things I love about.
Okay, I know where you're going, because when I watch the show and I look at the cauldron, like if I'm in the other room and I come in and the cauldron is on, I'm like, this can't get weirder.
It's
like this show is so bizarre, and they're dead ass serious.
Yes. It's okay. To me, it is the distillation of my favorite thing that you can't plan for with Halloween as an entity. And it happens at the Halloween ball backstage every year. It happens at every Halloween party. You get to see Sailor Moon and Wonder Woman are fighting over Megatron, and like they're screaming, they're crying, all this stuff, and I'm like, what is happening? And so here it's like Gray Matter, who, sorry girl, I gotta say it, Gray Matter is going through it, looking like the prospector from hell with the exposed brain, and everyone else is ghostly breastplates. I'm like, this is bizarre, honey. I love it.
That's wild.
Yeah, sometimes tears in the cauldron do that to me. I'm like, what is like, if I was just a regular ass person and I just happened to look over and see this, I'd be like, what the absolute fuck is this show?
Hell yeah.
And I love it.
So we whisk our two victims out to the Tesla coil. And what did you think of this? Like, what did you think of the footage?
The footage is scary looking. And the thing I couldn't tell is, were the walls closing in on them?
Yes.
That is the best part to me.
The ceiling comes down
That's
too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because the thought is that they might let go and then but this way you smash them down up against it and they have to hold on to it.
Well, it's a double whammy. It's if you are scared of being electrocuted, which, having been electrocuted several times for the purposes of guinea pig testing, ding, it's not it's not my kink, to quote Gray Matter. So it's just not my favorite thing in the world. And I'm like, okay, cool, you can deal with that. But when I saw the footage, I was like, am I seeing this correctly? Like the ceiling is coming low and it's the wall behind them. I was like, ooh, that's another layer of fear.
That smelled so. I mean, everything was frying, but they would not let go. And that's the thing they keep doing this year. I'm like, could somebody please give up? Because I'm like, and I'm sitting back there, and the whole crew will look at me, and I'm like, yeah, do it again. They're like, what? And I'm like, do it again. I'm like, did someone's hands come off? They're like, no, but they're crying. I'm like, do it again.
The Tesla coils, like the tears are getting electrocuted across their faces. Like, that's fierce.
Well, they were also getting shocked on their feet and their legs.
Yeah, that was something you couldn't see. There were
plates on the floor?
Contact points, like shock batons. So they're jumping not only their hands, but their legs too.
The exterminations have been extreme this season. Brava, ladies. Brava.
I'm glad nobody died.
Thank you.
But I will tell you something really scary. So when we went to test this thing, right?
We
went like during pre-production and went tested.
Uh-oh.
The guy turns the thing on and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And we're in there where they were.
In that small room, and he's like, it'll come on in like 30 seconds or
And
something.
he's like, I have to start it on full blast. It'll fry you. Do not touch it. So we didn't touch it. And I looked and there was a fucking rat on it. And he almost fried it. And I was like, stop.
Yeah, this
Oh
rat
my
started crawling up, and we were like, "Oh my god, no!" And like ran out of the room. I'm like, "Don't do it!" Yeah,
Don't fry that rat, but you can fry gray matter and BB. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fun. Listen.
I could not believe the electric bolt.
I loved
so
it.
awesome.
Visual. I was like, is this real?
So
and
cool.
I was like seeing it on the monitor, and then I went in there and I was like, this is like cartoon electricity.
I
It was
love
amazing.
that. Oh, it was so good. What else was good was our very obscure cliffhanger to be continued ending. What did you think of that, Ian?
Bitch. You bitches. So I mentioned this before we hit record. This is my first time getting to experience a cliffhanger as a fan of the show. And you bitches. Because I'm watching and I'm like, okay, I think I know who is going to go home and love that person. Okay, here we go. But I'm looking at the timer and I'm like, girl, there's only like 30 seconds left. Oh, that's a short death scene. Okay, I'll see. Okay. And then we get there and she's already a skeleton. I was like, well, this skeleton doesn't have a dragon on it. Like, where's the bra and panties on the skeleton? Who be this? And to be continued, I was like, you slam my laptop.
There is a damn good reason for it, and all will be revealed on next episode.
Yes, a Halloween treat, honestly.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, this week's episode is a two-parter because we would normally do our question and answer portion. Right now, we answer all your listener questions. There were so many listener questions that we had to add an additional episode this week. So stay tuned, and the part 2 of this episode will start playing shortly.
The Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is hosted and produced by Dracula and Swantula Boulet, along with co-host Ian DeVogler, with music by Neuron Spectre.